Hi, this is Wiley Sharp with Dennison Yachting, and today I want to do a quick video on 5 pieces of equipment I think every sailor doing an offshore overnight passage should have. All of the equipment I'm about to list, I actually personally own either this actual bit of equipment or an older model of the same exact piece of equipment. And prior to being a yacht broker, I did work as a delivery captain, so I've got Atlantic crossings under my belt, trips to and from the Caribbean, up and down the East Coast, across the Gulf of Mexico, quite a few miles under my belt. And this is all pieces of equipment that I think every sailor should have. So I'll have the links in the description down below. So if you are thinking about buying any of this equipment, definitely check out those links down below. Number 5 on the list is a Leatherman multi-tool. I mean, in general, Leatherman's or multi-tool is great to have while you're on a boat in case you have to open a shackle, you have to cut something really quickly. Just having that on your belt is a really, really nice thing to have, especially for a night passage, because the last thing you want to have to do is go fumble around in the dark trying to find a knife if there's something you need to cut in an emergency or open a shackle or whatnot. So a Leatherman multi-tool is always a really good piece of equipment to have for a night watch. Second piece of equipment that I think every sailor should have for a night watch is a headlamp. I've been using Petzl headlamps for quite a few years now. The current one I have is rechargeable, which is really nice. The LED light on it lasts all night long, and then in the morning time I just plug it back in, and by the following evening it's fully charged. Now with the headlamp, it's absolutely imperative that you get one that not only has a red light so you don't mess up your night vision, but also one that's got a really, really bright white light. So the red light's really good for when you're moving around, you don't want to mess up your night vision. But if you are in a situation, usually in inclement weather, where you really need to see what you're doing, you kind of just have to say to hell with your night vision and light the area up. And so a really, really bright headlamp is absolutely important. Number 3 on the list is an inflatable PFD. Now, I've been using a Mustang PFD for probably about 15 years now. I think that their hydrostatic release system is definitely the best in the business. A lot of the cheaper ones will use like a little capsule that goes into the mechanism, and when that capsule gets wet, it dissolves, which sets off a firing pin that inflates the inflatable. And I did have one of those very, very early on in my sailing career. They're just prone to accidental discharges, and it's a real pain in the butt. Whereas the Mustang hydrostatic systems uses a completely different mechanism, and things like rain or moisture, humidity isn't going to accidentally discharge the life jacket. It's also really, really important that your life jacket has a harness built into it. So the Mustang unit that I have has got 2 stainless rings about that big that I can clip my tether into to attach myself to the boat when the conditions require it. Kind of in that same vein, the next piece of equipment that you should always have for a night passage is a tether. When you're sailing on delivery during the day, there's usually other people awake and around, so tethering in is not all that important or not as important. When you're sailing at night, though, the majority of the time, at least when I did deliveries, either I would be up at the helm by myself or my crew would be up at the helm by themselves, and I would always clip in. Now, they make a couple of different types of tethers out there. The kind I like are the kind of slinky kind, so they'll retract and stretch if you need them. Having one that's long enough to be able to get to where you need to get the work done is important. And then the other really important thing for me in a tether is you've got one end that connects to the harness, then the other end that connects to the boat. A lot of them will also have a second connection point on the end of it. So if you're moving from one jack stay to another, or from one piece of hardware on the boat to another, you can always remain clipped in while making that transition, which is definitely a nice safety feature. Now, the latest piece of equipment that I've purchased, that I've had for not too long, I've taken on a few deliveries, is actually an Acer or an ACR personal locator beacon, which is an EPIRB. This technology, back when I was working as a delivery captain, was really cost prohibitive. I mean, the early EPIRBs were, that big, cost thousands and thousands of dollars. The unit that I've got, which I've got in the description down below, is about the size of a cell phone, a little bit thicker, and it actually attaches to my Mustang PDF. Now, I hope to God that I'll never have to use that personal locator EPIRB, but it is really, really nice and gives me a level of comfort having that on me at all times. So that's 5 pieces of equipment that I think every sailor doing an offshore overnight passage should have on them at all times. Once again, I'm going to have links to all these products in the description down below. If you are in the market for any of those products, it really helps me a lot if you click the link and buy it through Amazon. If you've got any questions on offshore sailing, deliveries, sailing offshore, catamarans, buying a catamaran, sailing a catamaran, etc., please leave a comment down below, shoot me an email, and as always, if you like what I have to say, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thanks and have a good day.